Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with the practice tip of the day. This one is for the beginning player. Today I want to just cover a quick tip on how to change chords faster. When you're thinking about the chords that you need for a song, let's just deal with 4 chords. Think about the common notes of one chord as in going to the next chord. So like for instance, if you're in the key of C and you're playing your C chord, and say your next chord is an A minor, you already have two notes of the A minor chord down. All you have to do to get from C to A minor is move one finger and park it right there. A lot of times people will want to just, they you know, in their heads they're thinking new chords, so I got my C chord, now pick up everything, start all over again, and put everything back for the A minor, and that's just going to slow you down. Okay, so the common chords in the key of C are, well, there are lots of common chords, but the basic 1, 4, 5, 6 minor formula for the key of C is C chord, A minor chord, F chord, and G chord. Not necessarily in that order. Even though it's 1, 4, 5, 6 minor, you often change the order around. So let's just kind of look at a common order of it. So I already talked about C from C to A minor. When you go to F, I'm going to assume that since you're watching this video, you're probably not playing your full F yet. You should maybe work with the kind of the F major 7 workaround, because if you can play your F, everybody has trouble with their F chord. If you can play your F, you don't need this exercise of this video, so just skip on to the next one. So let's do our F major 7 workaround. Okay, I'm coming from A minor. This is the common note for this note is also in the F major 7. So I have to move both of these, but there's my F major 7 right there. So I didn't have to move this first finger. Okay, and the other chord would be G. There's not a common note for G, so I'm just going to have to move everything, and that's... But I can save myself a little work, so I'm just here, move one finger, move 2 fingers, move all my fingers. So, okay, so let's look at the key of G. Key of G is very often, at least in the last 10 years or so, instead of... The standard way to play a G chord is like this. Since about the early 1980s, people have been playing it more often like this with 4 fingers. And I'm not sure which way you're learning it, but just I was going to point this out. Alright, so about the last 10 years, a lot of songs have been written with G. And the 1, 4, 5, 6 minor for key of G, you get G chords, and C chords, and E minor chords, and D chords. Again, not necessarily in the 1, 4, 5, 6 minor order. Alright, so there's my G, and very, very often, people just leave these 2 fingers down all the time for all the other chords. So instead of so here's my regular G, and there are lots of different ways to play all these chords. I hope that's not confusing. That's G, that's G, that's G, that's G, that's G, that's G. There are G's all over your guitar, and we cover that in another video, and you know how not to get confused by that. But anyway, so there's my G. Instead of playing C, if I just pull these 2 fingers down, that gives me C add 9. So I have these 2 common notes. And if I leave these 2 notes down and play my E minor with it, that really gives me an E minor 7. And if I leave them both down for my D chord, I get D sus4. That's usually, this little finger is usually not left down in that chord progression, but it very often is as well. So, but I generally like to pick it up, but I still have that common D note right there. So you can do that and that, and what that replaces is the standard G, standard C, standard E minor, standard D, and you get this. What people are doing, it's a kind of a songwriting trick. They're tying the chords together with these 2 notes, and you can also you can play all those with just the D note in there. So I play my full G. This is still C add 9, but I can. I'm afraid I'm confusing you with the different ways to play all these chords. But just keep in mind there are lots of different ways to play all these chords all over your guitar. And there's a video over on the website, www.LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com. I've focused on the G chord in that one, but it explains why you have different fingerings for the same chord, and it doesn't change the name. So anyway, so this would be still my C add 9. This would still be my E minor 7. I'm just not doing that first string. And then there's my D chord. So now I'm not locking that first string down all the time, but just on the G chords. So anyway, if you're working on, I mean, again, if you're watching this video, you're having a little trouble changing your chords, and there are a lot of little tips for getting there faster. So this is one. Just kind of plot out all your chords and how you're gonna how you're gonna play them. The fingering for the chord based on the song you're working on, and just kind of pay attention to which fingers you don't have to move, because that's very, very common. That's kind of one of the whole concepts of a key is that you have common notes. So the chords you're using are going to have a lot of the same notes in them. So you just have to notice them and work them that way. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Thanks for tuning in for this practice tip. Tune in again tomorrow for another one, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.